like mission imperative macho man sort of figure.
Just going with NASA for the time being, which are more complicated. Only because there's augmented reality, virtual reality, and then the combination thereof. And some people will still believe it, even though.
Yeah, I was certainly thinking. Sorry, go ahead.
Even though that's not what happened. So it's the. Oh, I forget the terminology. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking earlier, like the characters and personalities that they seem to select for these missions are more akin to the Wiggles rather than sort of some sort of, like mission imperative macho man sort of figure that's like, I'm here to get the mission done. They always like they're playing around with toys, floating around. They always have this sort of cheery mood to them. Like I
the
just
Wiggles have
wonder.
an adult audience too, bro.
It's just funny to me. I was sort of just wondering the other day. It's like, why is it they have not got some sort of James Bond-esque kind of serious man that's running these missions? They're always these sort of jovial interviewers, and you might sort of say that, well, what NASA chooses to pick people that are kind of more personable because their skill set is not imperative. They got Houston guiding them around, so it's actually more important that these astronauts become likable versus like the right person to get the mission done. I just find that rather peculiar.
I mean, maybe it's just not the archetype of an astronaut to be a macho, suave guy.
I thought Neil Armstrong was supposed to be a bit like that. Like they happen to be like a stern man, And that was a personality in the past.
Who's got a higher body count, do you think? Buzz or Armstrong?
What the fuck?
Well, Armstrong was an alcoholic, apparently.
All time here. All right, don't worry about it.
I do feel like
if you think about it, put your numbers down in the chat. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I do feel like the earlier astronauts would probably be more serious people taking on the original missions, right? Whereas as time goes on, a kid can grow up wanting to be an astronaut, whereas these guys were amongst the first. So I think it's a little different.
If I was one of the first people on the moon, let's say I could parlay that into quite a string of encounters with females. I'm just saying, who's got the higher body count? These two guys that walked on the moon. Thanks.
Buzz got Buzz Lightyear named after him out of Toy Story.
He's
so
the party guy, right?
Buzz.
Yeah. Okay. I think Buzz too.
Buzz Lightyear.
It's hard to avoid like celebrity and like rock stardomness, you know what I mean? When you like have been like one of only just a few people to ever do that, and the first, right? So.
Well, yeah, and what do we like? I mean, just given the people that have been popped up into space just recently, you've got a melanated man, a Canadian man, the what would you call like the macho American man, and a woman. Yeah, it's like it's a what do they call that? It's the tapestry of the society or something.
Diversity.
Yeah, it's a diversity selection rather than a sort of efficiency or what's the other term? Based on their capabilities.
Most the village people.
I don't know. I just find that unusual. It's nothing like there's no smoking gun there whatsoever. Can't make that up. But
gotta have skin in the game.
It's like a diversity sort of hire, essentially, rather than a proficiency hire. I think that's the term I was looking for earlier.
Well, how are you going to inspire a generation? If you don't look like I don't look like the people in the poster. You know what I mean? You're not going to be that son. You think You think you could be that? You can't. You know, so we need to motivate people somehow through lies.
We're- We
That
are
could be the case.
going back to the moon. We are on our way.
Back to the future moon.
Anchovy, have you seen the? I think it's Anchovy. Is that the voice I hear?
Yeah.
Have you seen the chroma key scene that's popped up more recently?
Yeah, I thought that was fake. People uploaded the original after someone started spreading the something showing up on that little snow globe or whatever he's flipping around.
Yeah. Okay. So you're familiar with it. Yeah. And you reckon it was fake? Like it. I mean, I couldn't put it past someone to sort of make up a fake chroma key. Apparently, from my investigation, it's pretty easy to make something look like it's chroma keyed. And then what do we have to do? We have to claim that the original was then edited later on to sort of fix the problem.
Yeah, I mean any of it's possible, but you know, someone out there is watching it live. I think changing it after the fact is a lot harder than just saying the original is probably not doing that.
Why do you say that?
Well, the original is not doing that. What do you mean? Sorry.
Well, if there's I don't know how many eyes watching this live, it'd be kind of hard to get away with changing the original upload to not have it and nobody notice versus the original just not doing that. And there's a lot of accounts online that they get engagement by faking these videos because somebody's going to believe them and spread it. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, for sure. You know, if they're the
Which
first
I'm
ones
not
to come
saying.
to market
Yeah,
with that. Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead, sir.
I'm not even a full believer in them being up there. I'm just saying people are capitalizing on spreading fake videos.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Very hard to prove. And we'd have to just go off like what Biasicles maybe recorded the other day, if he recorded anything at all.
Oh, Gallytrax is here. He's probably more confident and able to rebuke that, but it's there's like two major fallacies: appeal consensus and appeal to majority in regards to that. And actually, I think the third one, appeal to possibility. Whole bunch of
In
people must
regards
have seen it.
to what?
And Anchovy would have to restate that. Whole bunch of people had their
Oh
cell
yeah,
phone.
like
just trying
tons
to-
of people. I think
No,
the
I'm
main
not.
thing is
No,
like
no, no, no.
like appeal to silence, right? Like all those people who saw it, they would have noticed something. It's like absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. It's a really bad standard. We don't want to take that.
Didn't show what they showed before, and he had video evidence of that. No other channel has the ability to do that.
Okay, trimming is removing unwanted footage, right, from the beginning or end, right? And all they did was insert that what they trimmed out and put it in the middle. That's what he's saying in the video.
Some type of communication problem. It's like I'm saying plain words, and you're
Yeah,
hearing
you said it's
those
not trimming.
words.
You said what I said is not trimming. That is trimming.
Being able to change the like, can you engage with what I'm saying? Being able to change the content of what is depicted on a live stream, like 2 separate camera angles. No other channel can do that. And if you can do that, Please demonstrate it, because you
They
asked
didn't
to Google
change
it.
it though.
When you Google it, it says you can edit them after broadcast by trimming, cutting, or creating clips. You can't
Yes.
change what was shown. Like, for example, if I show a video of me walking in my garage and there's a purple elephant, I can't change it so that I change the colors of it. So there's actually a different video of a blue elephant. You can't do that. They can do that. That channel can do that. But you can't, and Jaren can't. That's why he's so mad about it.
I think I understand what you're saying. I think when you say change, I'm taking that as like the content that they recorded is being changed.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
think
say I
they
have
can
an
cut
hour
parts.
video, right? And at minute 15, a guy throws a touchdown, right? Instead of that, the entire hour-long video is My Little Pony. You can't do that. SpaceX can do that.
Okay. So, okay, yeah. I'm all right. I get what you're saying now. What I thought you were saying was that the part that they clipped out, they were actually physically either re-recording or changing like what was happening in the scene. Because what I'm getting from Jaren is just that they took out the end of the video, kept it the same, and re-inserted it in the middle of the video. That is separate
Yes.
from what I thought you were saying. Okay, I
Which
get
you
you now.
also can't do. That would be the same
Right.
thing. He's
Okay.
changing what's being depicted on screen. Yes. Like, go in front of this, like, orange, it's kind of like a strap, and it's in front of the strap, and then it's behind the strap, and then it's in front of the strap, and then it kind of smears the orange of the strap upwards. It's incredibly weird and looks completely unnatural.
Anybody somebody post that at recently that I can rewatch it? I saw it earlier today, but
Yeah, here's the side-by-side of the, like, alleged live streams on the left and the alleged filming off the TVs on the right. But if you watch that, like, left side of the video, when that thing goes over there, I'll just show you where the orange strap is and you can take it from there. So when that plushie goes over the left, look where my mouse is. Watch how it interacts with that orange thing. That strap looking thing.
okay.
Like, the chroma key is weird, this is also weird.
Looks like it kind of morphs through it or it comes from behind it or
Behind it, in front of it, and then it drags the orange upwards, which
yeah.
sometimes happens with chroma key.
What I do find weird is why would they just have chroma in like one spot of the screen? Like why would the blue not keep chromaing wherever they moved it? Or is that just an overlay of what would be there? Oh, it's moon upside down or something?
Yeah, it looks like it's moon backwards, but if someone edited the chroma key in it, I mean, it's a really weird thing to, I don't know, part of me, I'm so skeptical that I think NASA would put this out, this type of thing, just to get conspiracy theorists to follow the breadcrumbs, where they already have like a plausible explanation afterwards, to like undermine any people who question like the narrative. Because I don't know
Like
who would
a
take the time to make this video. If like someone made it.
right, like they put out the fake just to stamp it out immediately themselves, essentially.
Yeah, I mean controlled opposition's like a very common thing. They do like the so-called
Create the
controllers do
controversy.
that all the time. Like Rosa
Yeah.
Parks was controlled opposition. Completely
But
manufactured event.
yeah, 100%. I mean, if you think this is fake, I mean, like if you're someone who doubts space, like some of us here, I think it's completely viable that they would be doing whatever it takes to keep that con going. I mean, I don't see why not.
It's good counterintelligence to put out like something easily debunkable so people latch onto it. So I'm curious what the debunk is.
Does somebody have the account of the source of the one on the right?
Not that I
Or
know of.
hmm,
I have the original CNN video somewhere, which is the video you see on the left. And even in that video, which we went over on the live stream, you can see it like very clearly. That thing, plushie, it blends with it's like in front of the orange thing, then it's behind it, and then it blends with it, and then it pulls some of the orange upwards, which nothing else in the environment is interacting like that.
yeah, and the fact that they're re-uploading, I mean, this is just a CNN video, so of course this can. I mean, we're saying even if it was live, like, I don't get how this does anything for, dude. It's just Glover's come up with the stupidest rebuttals for like how this can't be fake.
Either
Blows my
way, it's
mind.
conspiratorial, right? Because on one hand, you say CNN or NASA or whatever, they're conspiring to cover up the chroma key. But on the other hand, you're saying, these two folks you hear talking in the video, they edited the video, they put it on a TV or a monitor, they recorded it on their phone as if it was the
Mm.
first time watching it, just to discredit NASA and go viral. Either way, you're saying there's a conspiracy afoot, so it's not really a good. Yeah.
Well, I think
Well, wouldn't you say it like so they got they got the mobile phone in their hand with the camera on, and they're watching this live, or would they have had to rewind the live footage that was appearing on their television?
Most people have like TiVo or like watch it on YouTube. So they might be watching it on their TV on YouTube. And they might have seen it and they backed it up just to record it. Don't know. I see what you guys see.
Hmm.
I
Don't know,
imagine
Chevy.
they would have, yeah, seen this live and then rewinded it to record it. I doubt they just had their phone out recording for any random thing to pop up, or maybe they were. I don't know.
Nah, no way. You can't frame it. You can't put it in frame that closely. And it's way more likely that they've got some sort of TiVo device or something that can rewind live television.
Yeah, or they're just watching on YouTube on their phone, but no matter which way you look at it, it's weird. The chroma key thing's weird. The blurring of that orange strap is weird. But we know for a fact that they use augmented reality and chroma key on the ISS. We have examples of them doing it, not like them doing it and trying to cover it up. We have examples of them doing it to like show this like woman summon in a plushie, which she then plays with. So like it's not like a hidden thing that they use these techniques in live footage. It's like completely disclosed by them that they use these things. trying to find that video of the woman with short hair doing it. Posted it before.
Or you're even being told how to interpret it and the environment of which to find yourself interpreting this from and through. And if we just parallel that straight with the narrative, science within narrative and framing and storytelling, that's basically how you put a character in a story. And they live in their own reality, basically. That's how you hijack realities. One way, just in the academia. And that's a really big problem place. If it's hijacked there, how does that affect society? But then you have the same type of hijacking in preschool,
Just let us know
in kindergarten,
when we
so
should
on and so
respond,
forth.
Martin. Just let us
Yeah,
know when
I'm
we
good
should
now,
respond.
actually. I think
No.
what I've said now has been thoroughly made clear, and I think this should be a really interesting topic of discussion if people have been managing to track along.
I'm sure we
think
just
I
won't
think they're
understand.
more like my way of thinking about it is that they're just like comparable to the personalities and lifestyle and expectations and all of that as like a high level prostitute. They have fun while they're doing it, but they know that they're like probably ruining somebody's marriage. And they get paid really well, and they have no conscience. They just walk around in this world, like feeling that deceiving is not a problem. I don't think they need to be anything more special than a high level prostitute. That's what an astronaut
No. It's a complete. Oh, okay. Look, if we're deferring to the
is. It's
educator,
basic,
like the notion of
right?
the educator, that's a different phenomenon. Like if you're going back to the astronaut, I mean, a few other things to unpack
That's what
there.
we're talking
No, I mean,
about,
I hear
man.
you on
That's all they are.
I hear you on the archetype of that, like that they express the archetype of the prostitute, like on a higher level. Maybe not like physically, like they're obviously some kind of NASA astronaut character, but yeah, that they're like selling their soul for something, or they're selling out for something, which I guess one could say like the prostitute archetype. You're kind of selling out your own like integrity or kind of sexual integrity for either money or some kind of, gain in that way. And in this case, yeah, if they're lying to the American public, either those astronauts or the ones called astronauts themselves, whether they like are actually pay, whether they're doing it for the money or for other reasons, like if they're part of more of a whole group and they're kind of just supporting their group to keep the deception
They
going.
probably have Masonic orgies and they get paid really well and they get like free drugs, like as many drugs as they want. That's why they've always got fucking something wrong with their face, because they're just on so many different drugs. And they love it. It's like a clown world. It's like going to join the circus. How exciting,
follow
like
that.
joining the circus, doing all sorts of tricks and deceiving people and,
Well, yeah, like how also
pulling
like
a
with the
rabbit out of the
CIA,
hat.
the kind of thing with the CIA where like, oh, if you're like a trained agent or an operative, you do whatever the CIA tells you. You might dress up in street clothes, you might have to get a job somewhere to infiltrate something, you might have to act like a civilian who wants drugs to then get to the drug dealer, all those kinds of things. And like there's that old, just like in movies, being an agent, double agent, people playing certain roles, for whatever like criminal organizations. So if there's anything like that going on, then yeah, they would be kind of at that CIA level type thing where they're just playing a role in that context.
But that's what those people believe in, though, Gio. Like they believe in the nation state. That I mean, if you take American or Mossad or the Five Eyes, a lot of those people got to be operating with the notion of a greater good, and they'd be willing to sort of go about doing devious plans.
All right, but if someone came to you, sorry if you want to finish.
No, that's right. Go ahead.
Well, just if someone came to you and said, "Hey, lie to the American public. We have this like 0G facility thing. We're gonna fake it all. Make it look like you're floating around, and we're gonna, you have to lie to them and make it seem like you're, hundreds of thousands of miles orbiting the moon. Like, what benevolent story could that person be told that would make it legit? If you're told you have to lie,
that essentially, if there was another mission that was truly going on, like a real mission, and they are the basically the public front of that aspect, but they've actually got another mission going on behind the scenes, and they presume themselves to be sort of like a proxy for it, for the human populace. They're like the front men. I'm trying to think of another example of this, like the front man sort of situation.
Well, that was kind of, yeah, that was like the idea I said earlier, like that they would somehow be able to be convinced that they're really doing real space missions, but that all has to be on, you know, national security level clearance, and they cannot, you know, because there could be a threat of aliens, or yeah, they could maybe be told a story like
If
we
the
have, you
mission
know.
goes wrong, like, you know, something goes wrong on it, the public aren't to know, because they don't, like, it's imperative that technology, science be viewed as the, you know, capable and like willing to. This becomes just basically for them, these people that are within an isolated, compartmentalized aspect of that sort of scientific communication. They're just the front men behind it. They're probably aware of behind the scenes to invigorate them, to make it sort of make sense, and then they just become the front men. It seems to resolve the complex a lot more for me than rather than having these sort of like, I mean, how many people are capable of looking down a camera and like absolutely lying like through their teeth? It's far more compelling to me that they're convinced by the paradigm that they've been thrust into, and
I
it's like a
think it's the
necessary.
materialistic world, Rixty. It's just you have to realize you're living in the world of materialism. And like money talks and shit walks, you know, people will do stuff if they're lured and basically seduced into a lifestyle of sex and drugs, right? And the whole idea about having fun and acting and mingling together, you know, they just produced a really perfect sort of a lifestyle for themselves, and they just have to joke around. They don't have a conscience. They're not worried what people think of them. They're having a good time and they've got millions of dollars. That's all it's about,
Okay,
man.
but those particular people that were chosen to be the astronauts are going to have to play that role in perpetuity. Like they can't go. I mean, I think they jump in between and out of roles a little bit more. I'm more inclined towards what Riggs states, but I mean, we have got examples of that a little bit, but it just like they got to go through like certain set of training. They got to be showing up. Like I saw the way that they were using the microphones and those little components that they were playing around with during the stage of the interview, right? They seem to be very comfortable with it. Like one guy was like just twirling it around, and sort of like when he passed it over to his to the person to the woman. I'll pull up the clip if necessary, but he just seemed to be sort of toying around with it as if he'd been sort of completely sort of used to this idea of like just playing around with a little toy, right? So they're trained into this the ability to, whatever this augmentation of reality device that they've got in front, which is capable of them sort of moving their hands around, and a computer knows how to generate that information. The way they're doing that is way too quickly to just be up there for what, a day or two. Like they're super comfortable in the way they're passing around those ornaments.
Well, they'd be just like Mark Sargent, who was like a gamer, you know, someone who grew up in the ranks of gaming, and then, you know, once you get to the level, that's the type of person that comes out of that situation. Is, you know, the Mark Sargent
What,
sort of
the
personality.
ex-military, like his kids were, sorry, his parentage were military, weren't they? And he's got the last
Yeah.
name Sargent. And he's in gaming, which gaming is well known to be a sort of like in my interpretation anyway, like there's a lot of
Well,
investment coming in from the
the
military
gaming
going into
part
gaming.
is for the technology that they use with their eyes for the virtual reality or whatever they call it, so that they can manipulate the you know, the computer generated objects that are floating around in front of them.
Hmm.
It's just smoke and mirrors. It's a circus. It's the whole world is a theater. It's a play. It's a stage. You know, the whole thing is just a giant, and you don't know. If you go down, if you're living in the suburbs in the city in Australia, you would never know. You would never know that if you look on your one street, even in a really high class area, probably a small percentage of those houses, maybe 3 or 4, are used as brothels. You wouldn't even know because they have clients who sneak around, you know? That's the
I mean,
type of personality that's out there. It's not like some mysterious fucking evil force that's, you know, up there with the level of God. It's not that. It's just
but
general greedy bastards.
yeah, like their ability to operate like brothels are actually considered legal here in Queensland. Um, I mean, it's kind of like semi-known
It's
in a
here
couple of
too.
sections,
It's it's legal here
but like,
too,
what
but
is
the
that?
thing is that you wouldn't know that your next door neighbor's house is a brothel because they just keep it so well covered because they want the money.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still like most of their clientele. I mean, they're just operating by they got to go to like a 9 to 5 sort of job. I mean, like my overarching sort of, if we get back to their major thesis, your proposition is that these people are fully a part of the one cabal, and I imagine that there's many houses within the cabal. It's not like there's a strict cutoff point of information between the lower house and the upper house. They've actually got it arranged, and like they probably think germs are real, dude. Like that's where I'm kind of like I'm thinking they're not even within the cabal of the notion that germs aren't real or virus theory and all that shit is it's just nonsense. So, but they probably think that's the complexity of the houses that they've built up. If that makes sense,
So
because I
you
can't
think it's
imagine
more like
that.
you an angle it would be more like the Rothschild world, the bloodlines.
I mean, that's the upper echelon, but when you're talking about a bunch of like 4 astronauts, they're not in contact with the upper powers. They're just
No, that's
minions
right.
within the
I never
regime.
said
Yeah.
that. They are still just
Yeah.
puppets. They're still just like graveyard workers. That's what they are, you know. All they do is like night shift. It's always fucking night shift, right? They're just like worker bees for the hive, you know. They're still under
Yeah, but are
instructions,
they
right? They're
into all
not
the
like
do
ones
they
that make the
necessarily need to be
decision.
into all the sex magic themselves?
Why
Like, could they
not?
not just be I just don't think it's necessary. In fact, it would make more sense that this compartmentalization would operate in such a way that they don't need to be sort of exposed to the dirty, grimy aspects. They're like the child entertainers. And actually, when you look at them, none of them are like serious, sort of like what you would imagine like a fighter pilot or like a man on a mission, like doing like a frontier of human endeavor. That's not what these people are. They're like the Wiggles. They're amenable to sort of what is it, popularity, and they're likable.
They
Milli
really come
Vanilli.
off much more as like PR agents rather than some kind of hardcore scientists, you know, or even skilled, you know, trained technicians and so on. They seem much more
Yeah,
like
exactly.
PR, kind of PR cover
Crisis
work,
actors.
cover work.
That's what they are, crisis actors.
Yeah, I just think at this level they would have to be in on, you know, in on it to enough of a degree that they would have to just be willing. I mean, there are criminals in this world, people willing to do all kinds of criminal stuff. I mean, I'm always blown away, like, you know, those the tech support scammers and the ones who call people up on the phone and they you know, tell them their computer's broken and all that. And obviously India has, you know, like in India there's a lot of those, and people kind of, you know, etc., get those calls and
Yeah,
all
no
that.
doubt. That's a good example as a rebuttal against my proposition for sure.
And
I'm
like,
always
well,
surprised when they call me up. I'm like, holy shit, is this what you're doing for your job, man? Like, this is how
right,
you
and I
make a
guess
quid?
exactly what I was going to kind of, yeah, exactly say that about it, which is that there seems to be, and I've seen some of the videos on YouTube where they're like busting them, like that one guy, a couple of guys' channels where they do the scam baiting and the scam busting or whatever. And the one guy can like tap into their cameras in their actual facilities and look around, and he knows their names and stuff, so he freaks them out. But these people just seem like, I mean, they, quote unquote regular people, but there they are. Now, some of those people may not even know that they're actually what they're doing, actually. Like some of them might be tricked into thinking that they actually are working for a tech company. But at the end of the day, they know, well, most of them know what they're doing. Some of them are just like receptionists though, and they transfer the call to someone else, but even they probably know. But anyways, and they're
they'll
willing to
know.
lie. They're willing to lie to the public.
They think it's righteous, actually. I suspect, I can't remember where I got this idea from. I think it was like looking into these sort of what would lead someone to do such a thing, and it's probably because they perceive the West to have stolen off them, and they're in a poor situation, and these people are supposed to be far smarter than them. So if they can deviously work their way around, to make a quid off the Western person, I mean, who basically stole off their culture, why not do so? I kind of imagine that's their modus operandi.
I would hear you. They're probably I've heard some of those I've seen where he like there's that one guy, his name is Kit Boga. He's really hilarious actually. His name is Kit Boga, and he actually says flat earth. He says he's kind of just trolling it though. Like he's not, I don't think he's a flat earther at all, but obviously he knows a little bit about it. But he says on God's green flat earth. That's what he says. He'll say on God's green flat earth. And he does like a voice changer to make himself sound like an old woman. He has another one that makes him sound like a 20-year-old woman. Another one that makes him sound like an old man. And the voice changers are really good. And he just runs these people in circles. And I had back like when he was, I don't know what he's doing now, if he's still doing his videos, but he's pretty hilarious. And he's also like comedic and stuff. But anyways, when he gets to the end of the call and he's just baited these people for hours and then he doesn't give them, sometimes the guys on the other line, like they break down. And they kind of, sometimes they go really nasty though, where they'll be like, yeah, we're scamming you. Yeah, we're doing it. Oh yeah, your old ladies are taking their money. They have enough money. They have, they have more money than they need. We can take 20 grand from them. But I think you're right that they also have a little bit of that, like, basically racist kind of thing where it's like, the West and having this, like, maybe even in the way it's portrayed to them too, that like we took all the wealth or something and then they're left. And so it's somehow like rationalized that they can steal the wealth from people that have an excess of it, from, owning
Isn't it
oil.
the same case for the like the prisoner or the like the convicted villain, perpetrator? They usually have some form of internal justification.
Yeah. Yeah, now maybe these astronaut people who are in a secret society, they may have a whole justification. See, I'm more willing to go on that side of consideration rather than like that they think they're doing something good. I mean, I'm open. Like I guess if they were told there is a real space program, because wouldn't they have to then be lied to that there's a real space program? Because if there's not a real space program, then it's like, what are you even doing? Like you're just lying.
They're just like the teacher, like who's like training, the student how to think about, the solar system or the lights above us. The teachers also like just indoctrinated themselves.
I would think these astronauts are more in on it than that, but I do hear you.
Oh, they're definitely in. They're more in on it, yeah, for sure.
When I think about like Neil Armstrong and Buzz and those guys, they're kind of different than these modern day ones. These modern day ones are more kind of like PR agents kind of thing, whereas like Buzz and those guys. I mean, it's hard to think of Buzz as like is in some high level secret society. Like that guy is.
It'd be the
I don't want to
like
be
the likes of
insulting, but he's kind of a bumbling drunk kind of guy, I guess, in a way, at least in his older age. But he's never been very like stable. Like to think that he's some like devious deceiver, like that, even though he is deceiving. So like, what is he, just the victim of something, or is he just? I don't know. He's a weird one. Neil Armstrong's sneaky. I could see him being purposefully deceptive. He's sneaky and vindictive, but Buzz just seems like just aloof. Although maybe that's the older Buzz in his drinking, because he was an alcoholic for years. Maybe that's I'm referring to that version of him rather than back in the 60s. He was probably much more of a buttoned up kind of military man style.
Well, whatever they did, they chose to put just the idea of Buzz Lightyear, like in Toy Story, like that was formative in my years, and they chose to pick that character. He must have done something to be sort of. I imagine that these accolades and this sort of thing. I mean, maybe sometimes they just come out of thin air, and like it's just appealing, and they can weave the narrative together. Toy Story, kids going to space, that whole like connection there.
Have
I
you
don't
seen
know,
the
but at
meme,
large,
the Buzz
oh, go
Life for
ahead.
Ear meme? Buzz, have you seen it?
Buzz Lightyear? What?
Here, I'll post it. It says Buzz Lightyear, and then it says Buzz Life for years. Buzz Life for years. Yeah, see, even that picture of him, he looks much more together back then. It's just hard to think that he's in some high-level secret society, I guess, in a way. Some of these guys. But who knows? Maybe there's just different levels of it. Like, if they have, like, their family line as well, like, if he's part of the family line, it would make sense that they would let those guys do, any job where you're going to be kind of, like, famous. They might give it to those guys. The ones that are in the actual family, so there's that factor, too. But, I mean, this is just a big lie. It's just more than being, like, hired to be... Well, I guess like the CIA, like we were saying before, if you're going to be hired to be an agent for that and you have to go undercover and stuff,
Well, it just seems more reasonable to me that if you can convince parents that telling your child that Santa Claus is real as an aspect of like having a bit of fun, or just sort of creating mysticism around this holiday and sort of entertaining children or something, you're just play acting along with what you're being told to by the broadcaster, and the stories that come down. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense that like you could do that like in small contingents, and they're just like, I mean, it's all just sectioned off. It's so easy to convince other people to do something.
Don't you think that they probably are pretty clever about the way that they operate with this all by now, and they have like a way of having people participate in it for the greater good? Like the thing I say about the outer ponders is the perfect front for this whole thing. Like if they're convinced that the truth of us being on a flat earth and having like a treaty with the outer ponders or some kind of threat, or we can't go, beyond a certain perimeter. So it was better to give the people this whatever, and that they inherited the whole space idea. And if they told the people the truth, it would destroy society, and people would sue the colleges for, I mean, it's already too late. So we have to do it. But the way we're going to do it, don't worry, it's not going to be very believable. I mean, if we're going to give people something to believe in, if they want to believe it, but we're not going to make it so believable that we feel like we're criminal about it, because we're giving the thinking man out with how hokey it is and what bad footage we give him. And it's just an act. And we're going to make sure that anyone that can see through the act can see through it if they want to. But if they want to buy into it, they can also do that. It's the perfect balance to keep like society as a whole just believing in this for the better of the whole, if they want to believe it. But we're not going to do it so like, amazingly perfect that we feel like deceptive, because we're not that, we're doing it poorly on purpose for that reason. That would make a lot of sense.
But it's not like believing it is any good though. So
Well, it makes it so that people don't feel like a rat in a cage. They're not trapped. They can have a whole psychological reason that they keep
but
it going for
that's
that.
exactly
Like
what.
maybe
But that's
maybe
what
they're convinced the truth
that's
is
what you
so
end up
awful
feeling like
compared to
when
what
believing it.
the little
But you end up
space
feeling like
idea
that,
is.
if you believe in it.
I don't know what you're asking. Sorry, what are you asking? Anyway, get my
He's
my point,
saying that,
Theo.
I think he
If I
was
may.
saying that if you believe in it, you'll feel trapped. Ironically, is what he's saying, that if you believe in the globe thing, you feel trapped rather than. I think that's what he was saying. Like you're trapped on a ball.
Oh, he's saying that to me.
Yeah.
You feel more trapped with a ball.
I think, yeah, that's what he's saying.
Can I respond to your new perspective?
Yeah, sure.
So what it will require, from my interpretation of what your like thesis that you're putting forward is, you'd need to have a hard line cutoff of the who's in the know and who's out of the know. And my presumption at the moment is that there's a tapestry going on, there's like the who knows what in different sort of factions and style. And your premise seems to put forward that like you've just like you got people that are all in the know and then people that are all out of the know.
Well, yeah,
The
if you're going
stuff.
to be one of those astronauts that's supposedly on Artemis, you have to know that it's
About
not
the
real.
outer
You
ponders.
have to be. No,
Well,
they
Yeah,
could
but
they
like
could use that. I'm just saying they might have a story that they convince these people of that makes them feel like they're doing the right thing to keep the lie
that's
going or whatever you want to call it, the
that's what I
illusion
put
going.
forward.
But the
That's what I
illusion they're
put forward in your pitch.
participating in. What's
Yeah.
that?
The proposition
The illusion
being
they're
put forward,
participating. Yeah.
yeah, is that essentially that they do have real space missions, and these guys are like a proxy for the public, essentially. That real space, like they're under the presumption, these like astronauts, so called, under the presumption that there are real space like expeditions that are occurring, but they can't be televised, right? For some reason, like in case something goes wrong, some sort of information gets leaked out. They're under the presumption that they're actually the front men for a proposition, like just the it's like the pure public awareness that these activities are going on. Thus, they've been trained into the like doing what they're doing.
That's another way. Yeah, that could be another way of convincing them, like the like secret space program that a lot of people that are looking into this stuff sometimes get caught up in, like, oh, they just can't show us the real shit because it's too advanced, and we've actually got civilizations on Mars already, that kind of stuff. But it's much easier just to tell the truth, or to a certain extent. I mean, maybe the outer ponders do exist and they have their version of the outer ponders that they say is, I mean, maybe that goes levels and levels and levels high where no one really knows who the outer ponders are or if they're outer ponders, but the word comes on high that there are people we're trading with and that's what's going on. And that can't be known by the public for national security. It just comes down to national security, and you sign the NDA agreement and you go along with it because they could claim they don't know what the dangers are, but it's better that they tell people that they're secure, just like your girlfriend that you're like,
Well, yeah,
don't worry,
like
you make up a story to keep her, keep from being scared, or the kids or whatever, some kind of thing.
We're talking about the people, a group of people that are the most over psychologically analyzed group of people when they go into these like contingents or aspects of the government, right? They are highly
Who,
psychologically
astronauts?
any one of these like high level like security, intelligence, astronauts, any of these in like high level endeavors, anything that's considered to be discreet to the public is like basically psychological analysis zone 101. And they would go through so many of these sort of exams, I would imagine, right? They get
Well, then they would
psychologically
handpick the ones that could handle the role,
trained back
right?
and forward. Yeah.
Yeah, they would handpick the ones that think, oh, okay, they'll get it. If we once you're handpicked, then you're like, sign the NDA agreement. Here's the truth, quote unquote. We're on a flat Earth, and we have to keep this thing going about space because
They don't even need to
society, as
know
we
about
know
flat
it, would
Earth.
break down if people knew we were on a flat Earth. So we can't tell them that, and they might
They don't need
understand
to know
under
about
some
flat Earth,
sort of
though.
circumstances. I'm not saying in particular it has to be a certain way. I'm just saying that these people seem like good people because they probably are good people that are, maybe even thought they were going to be astronauts, and then, they are told the truth so that, the society as a whole could stay. They have to
Oh
think
yeah,
they're doing it
you
for the
know,
greater
actually,
good.
you've been selected for a far more important role. We require you
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
public sort of front man. Like, you are
Right.
entertained into this proposition. Like
For
you
the good
are
of society. And in a way, they're right. It's true. I mean, if everyone knew the Earth was flat, then society kind of would break down as we know it. And it's not hard to convince someone that would happen if that were the case. So they may think they're doing it for even like this, the psyops, like the shooting psyops or some of these other things that we've seen. I think that those people that are participating, or at least some of them that are participating in that, are probably sold on the idea that, well, yeah, this is going to be a fake shooting, but if we put this out there as a fake shooting first, we're going to prevent shootings in the future because the security is going to be better because of the fake shooting. So if we don't do the fake shooting, we won't get the budget for the security and the security cams and all the things that are going to prevent future shootings,
Precisely.
future real shootings. So you're doing a good thing
Yeah.
for society because you're preventing real shootings by doing a fake shooting. That's probably how they convince those people.
That's how I imagine it all goes down at large.
Yeah. it makes sense to do it that way. Whether it's, I mean, to some degree it has to be true because the security's better, so they probably would prevent any possible real shootings. But it also serves to have like a,
Is it
a
it's the
total
Bay of Pigs? Isn't
surveyor
it the whole
state.
Bay of Pigs conspiracy at large? Like they were saying that like we need to pretend to do an attack on Florida or something.
There you go. Yeah,
Um,
we've heard this story before directly with some of these things. Yeah, that was the Operation Northwoods too. Was supposed to be that plane that they went down, and that was supposedly going to be a real plane on people or whatever. But the whole idea was to get the public's opinion on something, or for the greater good. As long as you can sell them on the story that they're really good people trying to do good for the whole, you can sell people on anything. Going to war, whatever it is.
I mean, I think they just have a fake empire going, and the people that are in on it all want to be in on it because they're making tons of money. So they're just like in that vibe, just criminal level. I mean, not only the money, but they basically are above the law. They can get out of probably any legal thing because they have that much control. And they basically have infinite money. They might also have access to other lands or other resources that are huge. And yeah, just like any other criminal organization, like I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, those astronauts are getting paid. I'm sure they're getting paid nicely too. I mean, that's part of the perk. But
I mean,
wouldn't it be better to
yeah.
convince them that they're like not? I mean, they don't seem like evil people. I was trying to come up with a reason that they don't seem like
to me, they
the
seem
kind of people that you might expect that they're going along with the deception. And the way they do it also, I thought was a good point, because the way they do it's not so believable that it feels criminal. It almost feels like they're doing a show for kids, so they're giving the people the option to believe it or not. Like they get out of it psychologically that way. Like, oh, this is so bad, we don't feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you believe this, then you just want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it is. Psychologically, they get out of it that way. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you on that theory, yeah, that like karmically they
Because they could do a lot better job easily, and they don't.
Yeah, but I think they might choose to do it this way because of that. Like when it looks a little funky, they trick people more that it's real because it looks like if it looked too perfect, they would actually be more skeptical. Whereas if it looks kind of funky, they'd be like, oh, well, yeah, it looks quirky because it's actually real. It's not a movie, and that's why it looks quirky. It's kind of this little reverse psychology.
Yeah, but they're still playing to the lowest common denominator. Like people like us, they don't expect are going to just buy it hook, line, and sinker because we're critically minded, looking at the video, rewinding it, trying to figure out if it's real. They don't care what they might as well just give us the fodder and have us argue online about it because they also serve that whole Discord part of it. Like they're trolling all the people that believe it, really. Like the guys in here arguing with us, they're totally trolling them by not making it very believable at all and having them try to defend the bullshit.
Yeah, they're like Duper's Delight and well, it's like mind control when other people are under them. Because if you convince someone of a lie that you know is a lie, then in a way you have some control because now you were the one that convinced them of the thing that's false that